Comfrey is one of those plants that gardeners either swear by or, quietly fear. It's a botanical powerhouse, a nutrient factory, and, when misused, a plant that can cause more trouble than it's worth. Today we're diving deep into the truth behind Comfrey, how it can heal your soil, how it can ruin your soil, and how to use it safely and effectively as a serious gardener. No myths, no fluff, just practical guidance you can apply in your garden right away. The first thing every gardener should understand about Comfrey is that it's a nutrient accumulator on a level most plants can't match. It draws minerals, especially potassium, calcium, nitrogen, and micronutrients, from deep underground layers other herbs never reach. When you cut the leaves, those minerals become available to your soil and your crops. This is why Comfrey has a reputation as a regenerative soil healer. The key is understanding exactly how to use it, so the benefits go into your soil, not the problems. Before Comfrey becomes a solution, you have to respect the plant's invasiveness. The most common variety, Russian Comfrey, also known as Bocking 14, is sterile and does not spread by seed, which makes it the safest choice for gardeners. True wild Comfrey, however, spreads aggressively and can quickly dominate a garden. Once established, its roots go so deep and so wide that removing it becomes nearly impossible without disturbing the entire soil structure. The poison part of Comfrey's story often comes from gardeners planting the wrong type, the wrong way, and in the wrong place. If you're establishing Comfrey for the first time, always choose Bocking 14 root cuttings and plant them in an area where they can remain undisturbed for decades. Once you have the right type and location, Comfrey becomes one of the strongest organic fertilizers available. The first method serious gardeners rely on is using fresh Comfrey leaves as a green mulch. This works particularly well for heavy feeding crops like tomatoes, potatoes, squash and brassicas. A practical ratio is to place a 2-inch layer of chopped leaves around your plants and cover them with 1 inch of dry mulch, such as straw, to reduce smell and slow decomposition. Over the next few weeks, the Comfrey breaks down rapidly, feeding the soil with potassium-rich organic matter. Apply this mulch 2 to 3 times during a growing season for a steady nutrient boost. Another powerful method is brewing Comfrey tea, which is less glamorous than it sounds. Comfrey tea is essentially decomposed plant material liquefied by thyme and microbes. To make an effective batch, you'll want to fill a bucket about 2/3 full with chopped Comfrey leaves and weigh them down with a rock or a brick. Do not add water. The leaves will release their own liquid and collapse into a dark, potent concentrate. Let this sit for 3 to 4 weeks. When it's ready, dilute it at a ratio of 1 part Comfrey concentrate to 10 parts water for general feeding, or 1 to 15 for young seedlings. Many gardeners use this tea every 2 weeks during the peak growing season to stimulate flowering and fruit development. Comfrey also works as a slow-release soil amendment when you use its leaves in compost. Mixing Comfrey into your compost pile at roughly 1 part Comfrey to 3 parts carbon-rich material, such as leaves, shredded cardboard or straw, creates an ideal balance for rapid, hot decomposition. Because Comfrey is incredibly high in nitrogen and moisture, it jumpstarts microbial activity and speeds up the breakdown of tougher organic matter. If you're maintaining a cool compost pile and struggling to reach higher temperatures, a few handfuls of Comfrey can transform the entire system within days. Now let's address the poison concern that tends to worry newer gardeners. Comfrey itself does not poison soil. What it can do, if handled incorrectly, is overwhelm your garden's balance. Too much fresh Comfrey at once can make soil overly rich, causing leafy growth at the expense of fruit. Applying concentrated tea without dilution can burn roots. Planting invasive varieties too close to beds can lead to competition, shading, and root interference. The safest approach is to treat Comfrey like a natural fertilizer that deserves the same respect you would give a strong commercial product. Use it intentionally and measure your ratios rather than casually tossing it around the garden. One of the most overlooked uses of comfrey is its role as a living mulch and chop and drop system. Plant a few bocking 14 crowns along the perimeter of fruit trees or berry bushes and harvest the leaves several times a season. Lay those leaves directly around the base of the tree, forming a nutrient ring that slowly decomposes. In orchards, this method builds humus quickly and creates a long-term nutrient cycle that doesn't rely on external amendments. Over 2 to 3 seasons, gardeners often notice improved soil texture, increased worm activity, and deeper root establishment in the trees. Finally, comfrey is a soil healer in the literal sense. If you have compacted earth or areas where poor soil has limited plant diversity, planting comfrey can help break up hard layers and pull nutrients back toward the surface. Over time, comfrey acts like a biological tiller, improving aeration and water infiltration without disturbing the soil ecosystem. Used wisely, comfrey is one of the most valuable plants a gardener can grow. Misused, it can create long-lasting challenges. The real secret is understanding that its strength lies in balance, careful placement, and proper ratios. If this guide helped deepen your understanding of comfrey, make sure to subscribe to Gentle Herb Gardening and share this video with fellow gardeners who want to grow smarter, healthier soil.